Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another EVE Online video. Now I'm going to say, to begin, this is definitely not the way that I had imagined doing this video. And I'll talk about why, because usually what happens is I think of an idea that I'm going to do for a video. Right? And then usually what happens is when I am out getting the footage that accurately represents what I'm talking about in that video, I come up with another idea for another video, right? And then it goes into the folder of future videos, and 90% of the time those videos are made. The other 10% they just get scrapped for whatever reason, multiple different reasons. But this video was going to be about how I was preparing and building a nest egg, because I wanted to go on like a nomad journey. And the things about plans is the majority of the time things never go to plan. So obviously things have changed ever so slightly, and a few things have led to this point, but what we're going to do is we're going to run through the nest egg and what I was building and what I was hoping for. So obviously I was building a nest egg because whenever going out on a nomad journey, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know from one system to the next. Is you could be sitting there full of implants in a big ship and jump in and get killed, and you have all this ISK that just went down the drain. Now, if you don't have, the way I was looking at it at least, is if you don't have some form of nest egg to keep you afloat, it's not going to last very long if you continue on that trend of Dan. So I wanted to build a nest egg, and I was doing a lot of different things to try and just build up stuff, and the whole plan was to have all these, not actual ISK, but have all these assets that in ISK, if that makes sense, and I'll get into it, sitting there so that if needs be I can sell those stuff and get ISK back to fund basically the nomad lifestyle. That was the thinking behind it, and I spoke about it before, and there was part of one of the comments that I received in one of my last videos. It was actually the wormhole video, and the comment was saying stuff, and then at the end it was, how much of a nest egg are you building? Right, and that got me thinking, and I was sitting there and I was like, I'm building this nest egg and I don't have a set limit on it. I don't have like this goal where I'm like, right, once I hit this, I know I'm comfortable and then I can go and do it. And because I didn't have that goal, it was going to be a case of, we're just going to continuously do this, and then the nomad trip is not going to happen, and so I was like, right, I just kind of have to bite the bullet here. So I did, but before we get into that, obviously what we were doing to build up the nest egg is, obviously I've spoke about it before on this channel, is ice mining, gas mining. They're probably the two main things. I done a lot of gas mining in wormholes and in low sec as well, because gas is very fast. So it is. You can do it really easily. It's very fast to get done. So realistically, whenever you think about it, it is quick ISK. And if you get lucky enough where you can say that you found gas site and you've been left alone, sky's the limit basically. Well, you're in space, so you don't really have a sky. Anyway, yeah. So that was kind of the main two things that I was doing. I was obviously doing a lot of data and relic sites, and there were sites where 6 containers was adding up to about 100,000 ISK, where I was using the cargo scanner and seeing that and going, that's not even worth my time. Moving on and doing other sites that's much more valuable. Doing that, getting that stuff sorted. That was the gas, the ice, and the data and relic sites were the main 3 things that I was doing to make ISK. Some days you have good days, some days you have bad days. I wasn't really putting a goal on it, so I wasn't logging in going, this is how much I want to make today. You just log in, you see where you end up, basically. The other thing that I was doing was because I wanted to create some amount of passive ISK, and realistically speaking, there's not an awful lot of ways to make passive ISK on Eve. There's really not. One of the ways that you can do it is through PI or planetary industry, which that's exactly what I done. I had my main character, and so I had 2 accounts doing it. On my main character, or my main account, sorry, there was 3 characters doing it, and then on my second account there was 2 characters doing it. So in total 5 characters doing PI. It wasn't getting me an awful lot because I was only doing the basic materials. I wasn't going any higher than the basic materials because I wanted this to be as passive as possible. I only interacted with it once every 3 days, and once every 3 days it was getting me about 30 to 40 million, which isn't a lot, I know, but whenever you're only doing it once every 3 days, because I had it on like a 10-day cycle, so every 9 days, after collecting, I was going to collecting the materials every 3 days, and then on the 3rd time, so the 9th day, I was resetting it. So for over the course of 10 days, you're probably spending about an hour and a half on it, and you were probably getting upwards of 120 million, which again I know isn't an awful lot, but I wasn't expecting much from it. It was just kind of there just to add a wee bit extra. And the other thing that I was doing was farming for escalations. I wasn't really counting all the ISK and loot and stuff that we were getting from just normal combat sites. It was more going and getting the escalations, and I say that I done maybe over the course of like a week or 2, because it wasn't my main activity, but over the course of a week or 2 I was doing maybe 7 or 8 escalations, and only one of those broke 100 million. The rest of them didn't even break 5, to be honest. So wasn't all that lucky, but again, it just, you kind of have to play it as it comes. Wasn't all that lucky. Alright, so all of this was the stuff that I was doing on a daily basis every time I logged in, so that I could build up this nest egg. And like I says, I didn't really have a set goal or limit as to, once I hit that, we move on and do our nomad thing. And that's whenever that comment made me realise that whenever someone had actually asked, how much of a nest egg are you making, or are you looking to get, and even the wonderful amazing Zach asked as well, and it kind of put the idea in my head, and then when someone else asked it, it was kind of like, right, I kind of need to make a decision here, whether that be, this is the limit that I wanted to make, maybe it was 7 billion, maybe it was 10 billion in assets before we do it, whatever it was. And there was one night that I was in a wormhole and I died, and I had all these implants for scanning and hacking, and they were gone, and I had about 90 million of Data and Relic site loot, and I died, and I lost it all. Not all of my assets, obviously, just it was probably, realistically, the loss was probably about 600 million, give or take. And that's whenever I realised, I was like, right, fuck it, we're doing it now. And that was it. It was done on a whim. And as you can see from the title of this video, that we have officially left HiSec. So that, whenever I decided, right, it's been done, the next couple of hours was spent moving a lot of stuff from my home base in Halima and moving it to Jeddah. There's a lot of stuff, ships and stuff like that is in storage in Jeddah. I have got some ship fittings in Jeddah, and I have got some blueprints in Jeddah, and that is it. The rest of it gets sold. All the PI material gets sold. All the loot from combat sites and escalations gets sold. All of the gas and ice gets sold. Data and relic site loot gets sold. Everything gets sold that I wasn't going to be using. The ships I kept because you never know, right? You never know when you're going to need a Skybreaker or a Stormbringer. You never know when you're going to need a Noctis or a Porpoise or something like that. And I've got a spare Tengu as well, so you never know when you're going to need those. So I kept those. I did make the decision to sell the Orca, the Hulk, and the Retriever. I sold all of those, completely get rid of it because I'm not going to be doing ice mining. I just think that it's something I've done for such a long time, and it's very easy for me to fall back into that and go, let's do ice mining because it's safe, it's constant ISK. But no, we're not doing that no more. So I sold that, and then I just done one last one where I filled up the freighter and moved everything and put it into storage, and then I went out and I looked for systems. I ended up down near Zach. I was actually in his home system, and it was a nice place. The only problem that I had with it is that there is a lot of there's a lot of faction warfare going on down there. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that is why he is there, if I'm not wrong. But there is a lot of faction warfare there, which just made me feel a little uneasy, if I'm being completely honest, a little uneasy. So I went to a different system, and I landed in the system that I'm in currently. I give it like 24 hours of getting set up and having a look about, seeing what's around me and stuff, because when you get into a system, you can't just judge a full system based on how many people's in it at that current moment in time. Something could be happening. There could be a wormhole in the system that people are using to cut down on travel time. It could be generally a quiet system that people are only passing through, so you give it a while. The system I landed in seems to be pretty, if I'm being honest, it seems to be pretty quiet, which is good. And what I done was I brought down a gas ship, I brought down a buzzard for data and relic sites. My second account done a lot of the travelling. It brought down a storage containers or station containers, and it brought down a lot of other things for me so that I didn't have to do that. And yeah, we've just kind of made a thing down here because I'm in low sec at the moment, and what am I? Also, I'm just in the background here. Also, I'm like 4 jumps from null, so I can easily just get into null, do some data and relic sites. The only thing is that, if I'm not mistaken, the site or the first few nulls around me, because they are so close to low sec, is the last time I went through that way, they are bubbled, so that could be a bit of an issue. I know people will say, why don't you do get your other account to go in first? That I can't be arsed with. But yeah, we've finally left HiSec. I again didn't plan to do it at this point in time, but I think that I just had to make that decision where I can say, right, fuck it, enough is enough, we're out. And do you know what? I got very, very lucky. In the not even 24 hours in, roughly about 24 hours in to the living in the system that I'm in, I got very, very lucky. Very lucky. Which I will make a video about. I'm going into more detail because I don't want this video to take up too much time, because basically it's just me telling you that I have left Nullsack, or I have left Highsack. I'm living in Null. I have spent time living in a wormhole, I've spent time living in Highsack, and I've spent time living in multiple parts of Lowsack, and I just found a gas site. Sweet. Yeah, so I'm going to spend some time in Low. We might not do like a nomad lifestyle, at least for the foreseeable future, but what we will be doing is we will be doing a lot of travelling, and just seeing what we get up to, seeing what we can make. Again, last 24 hours in Lowsack, I have been very, very lucky, so I'm going to continue on with that. Yeah, so let me see here, because I just found a gas site just before I start work too, so this could be good. But yes, that's going to do it for me. As of recording this video, I'm going to try to get this up within the next few days, but as of recording this video, we are down to less than 3 weeks till my son is born. There is 2 people here. Are they at the same thing? 2 different sites. Right. Okay. So let me see. Amber. We're going to do Amber 3. But yeah, we're down to less than 3 weeks until my son's born. So I'm trying to get a lot of these videos sorted ASAP, and then just kind of have them scheduled to go out periodically. Hopefully that works. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for me. Until next time, thanks for watching.